Alright,
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so I've been wanting to write a brief message to all of you just to bring you up to date on my latest episode here at Suzanne Elise. Last Sunday, I had to be returned to the hospital and go through that business. And once I got out of the hospital, I said, I've got to fill these people in on just what we're dealing with and maybe how serious it is. And so that's what I've got to do. So that's my attempt now. In the past, I've kind of sloughed that off onto somebody else and said, here, tell them what's going on, but frankly, don't tell them how serious it is. And that's kind of stupid. So let's get down to business. I think the first thing we have to do is deal with certain words. And I've identified the first one as progressive. The word is progressive, and I think we all know what that is because your mother has dementia, and we know that her dementia is progressive. And dealing with words is important. I like to refer to things that come from John Wayne's movies, in which he says things like, it is true that an oath is only a group of words, but the words are what men live by, and so they're very important. You can't skirt them. So the word progressive is the first one I want to deal with. We all know that your mom's dementia is progressive. We don't see it from day to day. We don't see it from even week to week. But over time, we can see that her function and her ability to understand is less and less than it was previously. So progressive just means it's not going to change to the better. It's going to get progressively worse. And that's what progressive means. The situation I'm in now, and it was determined when I was in the hospital earlier this week, is I have a couple of conditions. One is in the lungs, and my lung condition has been called by the pulmonologist. It's a progressive disease that I have in my lungs. My urologist has determined that the bladder cancer I have in my bladder is a progressive disease. It's not going to get any better. There's no treatments, there's no pills, there's nothing that's going to make it better. We also know that my diabetes is basically out of control, and although that has to do with the lungs and the bladder, it doesn't matter why, the fact is it's out of control. So those three things we're dealing with, and they are progressive. And we understand what progressive means. There's no sense trying to wish for or hope for, no could have been, should have been. We are where we are, that's it. The second word I want to deal with is what's called palliative, or palliative. And palliative simply means you've come to the point in your medical condition where we're no longer going to try and fix something because it's already been determined it can't be fixed. And that's where you are. That's what you got to deal with. It cannot be fixed. So my lung, my diabetes, and my bladder cannot be fixed. They are what they are, and they're going to continue to get worse. There are no pills. The only thing doctors can do is prescribe pills to try to fix something that's broken. The other thing they can do is to perform procedures. For example, an amputation. For example, whatever doctors do, a heart replacement, maybe or organ replacement. All the things that doctors can do and do so well. Those things, none are going to be very helpful are going to be of any help to me because my situation is progressive. So palliative simply means we are now going to turn away from doctors who cannot handle these things in their usual way, which is to give pills and to perform procedures. And we're going to turn it over to my third word, which we want to consider, and that word is hospice. And hospice groups are groups of people who do try to assist people who, like myself, have been determined to be untreatable, inoperable, have those kinds of conditions, but to make them as comfortable and to make them as pain-free as they can. But that's all they're trying to do. There is no intention by a person in hospice to fix anything, to make it better. They can't do it. So those are the three words, progressive, and when it's progressive, that's it. Palliative, and when you go to palliative, you've just not given up hope, but you know there is no hope. There are miracles maybe, but no hope that things are going to get better. They aren't. And in palliative care, they just want to make you as comfortable as they can, and they want to keep you as alert as they can and able to function as much as you can. But the biggest thing is, let's keep the pain out of it, and let's not let pain happen. Again, going back to some John Wayne stuff, I remember one time in one of his movies when he had played the character of a person who had been diagnosed with an incurable cancer. And he was asking the doctor, well, what can I do? What can I expect? And the doctor said, you do whatever you want, for as long as you want. And then pretty soon you won't want to do anything. He said, in fact, I think one of these days you're going to wake up and you're going to say, here I am in this bed, and here I'm going to stay. So that maybe is what you can look forward to. And John kept pestering, no, I want to know more. Tell me more, tell me more. And the doctor, who's played by Jimmy Stewart, said, I don't want to tell you anymore. I just want to let it go like that. And John Wayne says, well, I always remember I used to say, courage. The definition of courage is when you're scared to death and you saddle up anyway. And maybe it is when you don't know for sure what's going to happen, but you saddle up anyway. And that's a good way to put it. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't want to try to predict. There is none. We just hope that everything works out the way it's supposed to. Things are going to happen. There's nothing we can do about it. But we can deal with it, each of us by ourselves and also as a group. We can deal with it, and that's what we're going to do. We'll saddle up anyway and go forward. So this message is just my attempt to tell you that we're not looking for miracles. We're not looking for any changes in my condition. They aren't going to be covered over with some sweetness of some sort. They are what they are, and we'll go deal with them. So that's my message. 3 words. Let's stick by them. The words then are progressive, palliative, and Jurassic. Excuse me.
Hospice.
That's the word.
Hospice.
Sure. Not Jurassic.
Hospice.
Huh?
Hospice.
Hospice. with this hospice. And we'll put our hope in their hands, and we'll go with what they got, which seems to be appropriate for us, and we'll deal with it with that. You know I love you all, I always have, and I always will. And I want to wish you all good luck and the best of health, and let you know that I've all this time really appreciated your help and your support. So let's go do now what we gotta do. Let's go take care of this thing as best we can. Well, Dad.